up, y'all? Welcome back to Music and Beauty TV. It's me, Miss Ruby. Thank you so much for all the compliments that I know you guys have about my hair right now, because I know I'm popping. But you know, we ain't gonna spend too much time on that, because you know, this video is gonna be long enough as it is. So, no, seriously, I'm here today with a different type of video for y'all. I know most of the time I do hair tutorials where I'm the one that's doing the work, but I'm pregnant. I've been doing a lot of hair, and my hands are on fire, and it's just been tough. So my homegirl Whitney is coming through on a clutch, you feel me, to help hook your sister up. And we're about to do a full head weave, y'all. So I wanted to take this opportunity to go through the process. She has never done a weave before, or if she has, she's still a novice at it. It's completely new to her. She's a braider, she's a dope braider, but doing weaves is still kind of new to her. So I'm gonna basically be teaching her how to do this on camera. And y'all gonna be a part of this process, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoy, but before we get started, let me introduce her. This is her right here. Can you see her? No? What you mean? Right here. Like, y'all tripping. Anyway, if you haven't seen our other video together, you ain't been subscribed, you ain't been paying attention. So go check out our other video where I did her hair as well. I was blessed with some hair from MarchQueen. The details for their hair supplier will be in the description below. They sent me 4 bundles of this virgin Malaysian hair. I'm super excited about it because it's curly, and I'm hoping that it matches my curly hair texture. But ultimately, I'm going to leave that in the hands of Whitney. You got this, girl.
I got it.
Tell the people a little bit about your weave skills.
They are very limited.
But after this video, though, after this tutorial, though,
that part.
You gonna be popping.
Yes.
She gonna be popping. Okay, let's get started. I just want to show you guys. She's getting so big. Her daddy don't be liking when we dance, cause he hate her. Ooh, this feels so weird. Wait, I gotta sit back.
Oh, you want all this out? You gonna hit all this out in the front?
Yeah. I'm out of breath.
Because you was just doing the baby dance.
Oh yeah. And don't worry about like tender-headedness. I'll let you know if it gets too tight though. Me and Whitney go back like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
Hey. See, my whole thing, and the reason why I never really did a weave before is my timing. I'm scared that I'm gonna take too much time and doing somebody's hair or the foundation. Even though I know how to braid, I'm always scared that the foundation's not going to be laid right. I think that's like the main thing that's to stop me from.
That's all a part of the process though. You are going to take a long time. When I first started doing weaves, probably for like the first year, it took me like 5 hours to do a weave. 5.5 hours.
Really?
I think it probably even took me 6 hours sometimes.
Did they care though, is the question.
They knew I was new and I was charging them $75. So, I mean, the clients who I started doing weaves on were like situations like this. Someone who I knew, who had done their hair, they knew I didn't do weaves. They knew I was just getting started. They was like encouraging me, like, because they really wanted their weave done. And they're like, I know you can do it, girl, just do it. Now, I seen you put that track in your sister's hair or whatever, so I know you could do a weave. And they had so much confidence in me that it's just like, okay, well, you know what you're getting into.
Right.
And so, yeah, it would take, because every time, like, you would think you would grow out of the 5-hour thing quick, and everybody's different, but for me, it seems like every time I did a different weave, I was learning something else.
Right.
Like I told you, there's a lot to learn.
You see how it doesn't start where it's supposed to start?
No, that's actually better. Well, it's like this. You do want to get them to be like in the same place, ideally. Okay. So you got to make sure that when you're starting off, if that happens, you see it starting to drag, just start it over. Okay. Grip less hair in that first little loop. Does that make sense? But if one is longer, it's better that the one on top is longer or more forward, because this track's gonna hang over that. Yeah. Versus if this one was dragged back more and this one was, then the track would be up here. Yeah. And this would be over there, and you would see that track sticking out. So you good. Okay. But yeah. And actually, sometimes that's good anyway, because I end up dragging the track that sits on this braid and curving it up here, so that it has like a slight little like fall forward, just a little bit. Okay. So then it works perfectly. Okay. Good question.
My goal is to get these braids as small as possible, or just What is my goal for this?
You want the whole head to be as flat as possible. I don't think it's necessary to do the smallest braids in every beehive to get them as flat as possible, because see, like, everybody's hair is different. If I get in someone's hair, like for me, I know I have thin hair. What thin hair means is I don't have a lot of strands in per area. Like if you were to measure like a square inch of my head compared to someone with thick hair, I might have half as many strands in that section as them. So although the texture of my hair in some places is, God bless you,
thank you,
is kind of coarse, if you wrap your hand around my ponytail, my whole head, it's gonna be a smaller ponytail than like someone else. So that means I have thin hair. So that means if you braid my hair down, even if you did fairly big braids, it's still gonna be kind of flat.
Right.
Whereas girls who have thick hair,
yeah,
even if their hair feels soft and silky, if they got a lot of strands going on, whew, this side of my head is just more tender.
Is it?
Yeah, if they got a lot of strands going on, then you know no matter how small you do those braids, it's still gonna be kind of thick. So you gotta make sure to do those braids real small. Now I always say the first 2 braids on top and on the sides, first 2 to 3 braids should be small no matter what. But if you gradually make the parts a little bigger as you start doing the beehive, as long as you're maintaining flatness, then you should be fine.
Okay.
That's the most important thing.
Okay. So now that I did these 2, I'm going to...
Those look so good. Those look so good. Okay, now that you did those 2, you're gonna what?
Start here, and then come around and start your beehive?
No. Do 2 braids on each side, going like
this.
Yeah, that's
right.
Like that first. Yeah.
We're going straight down. Yeah. And they're gonna hang down like...
Both start here, come, and then drag them all the way around to the back.
To the back middle? The middle back?
The back middle, yeah.
Okay.
What I'll do sometimes though, or a lot of times, is I'll take the first one, just drag it down right here, and then braid it down. Then the second one, drag it to the middle.
Okay, I can do that.
You can do that. And then just bear in mind that, remember, this top track is hanging over everything to cover everything. So you don't want this braid starting over here, because all these tracks is going to start super far to the front. You know what I'm saying? So drag it back to where the braid itself lines up with where this
braid
top knot starts.
Okay.
You know?
Is it important to braid all the way down?
Yes. And the reason why, because you're going to have to go in and stitch all these
Ruby, I'm
braids.
going to need you to start this all over again, because you cannot be smacking.
Oh. No. Yes. And the reason why. No, it's super important, because you're going to go in and end up stitching all the tail ends of each of these braids down, and the thread can get caught into little baby strands of the hair more if the hair is loose. Now, obviously at the end there's going to be like some loose pieces, especially with hair like mine. But get it as tight and secure as you can, so that the thread is not like pulling at every little tiny strand of my hair. The thread's just looping around the braid. Especially like I noticed when I've taken weaves out before, the hair be all jacked up under there. So if you don't start it out braided up securely, then it's really going to be jacked up, and then that just makes it mat together more. And like when they take the weave down, it's just more, it's more damaging, because the more matted the hair is, the harder it is to comb out, the more it breaks, all that stuff.
Okay.
That's why with my hair, because I know it's cut in certain places, it might be hard to finish off. You may need to add some synthetic hair to the ends as well.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay. Good question. Look, all these things I don't even think about. We're gonna have to break this video in 3 parts.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I feel like I cut it smaller right here, and it still came out thick.
Yeah, but that's not too thick. So the thing about it is, I'm getting a curly weave, so I'm really not tripping, because it could be thicker than this, honestly. But basically, it's gonna happen naturally, because the hair that you're pulling from over here is dragging all the way over there. So the braid's gradually gonna get thicker. But you wanna ultimately do the test, like when you put your hand on there, does it feel like it's lumping out? And for me, when I do that, I don't feel that. Secondly, if you ever really wanted to avoid that and make it super, super flat, then instead of doing 2 braids on top right here, you would do like 4 braids.
Okay.
And then you would do like 4 braids in this front area.
Okay.
So that it kind of gradually gets bigger as it's going back. So then by the time you get to the beehive braid, then they're similar. They're more similar in size. And you also want to make sure that when you're parting, sometimes you got to feel like you're parting close to nothing.
Right.
Like the thinnest sliver of hair, it seems like it's nothing, but because all the hair from before is dragging into it, it's still going to create somewhat of a thick braid. But in this case, I'm getting a curly weave that's never going to be straightened. I still don't, it doesn't need to be lumpy and fat braids, but it definitely doesn't need to be the skinniest braids underneath, because as long as everything is secure.
Okay, now with your type of hair, I was able to get away with it because you have thinner hair. So with thicker hair, would I just automatically
take it down and redo it?
No, do the 4 braids.
Yes, and that's the kind of stuff you realize when you see someone with a whole bunch of hair, and it's not even just the amount of hair that they have, it's how the hair folds down when it braids. Because some people, when you start braiding, you'll be able to tell by the first braid you do. Like, dang, from here to here, the hair stayed skinny. Or the hair didn't grow at all. Like, you can feel it in your hands. Like, I can already tell that this person's hair is going to get so thick by the time I get, like, all the way across the hair. So then, yeah, you just make that assessment. But I've seen girls with really, really thick hair on pictures before get their hair braided in one complete circle and it be thin the whole way. Like I said, I think it's mostly about the parting more than anything. And then sometimes I'll notice too, depending on if the person's hair is thicker at the bottom than it is at the top, then it's like the top piece over here is a little thicker than the top piece over here, because you're dragging from down here and it might be thinner pieces of hair. You know what I'm saying?
How necessary is it to braid as tight as possible?
Not. The tightness of the braid matters most concerning how well it's going to stay in. If sometimes people's hair grips so strongly into itself that I don't have to braid tight at all, because I'm like, this braid ain't going nowhere. And then other times, girls' hair is so soft and so loose, like, it falls out of braids easy, that I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta grip this kind of tight, because otherwise it's gonna come right out.
Even if you sew it in tightly, if the braids are not tight, then it won't last?
No, it's not gonna last as well. The foundation is everything, because you'll see even when you start stitching that if the braids are not tight, and when I say tight, I mean more tight in and of themselves than I mean tight against the scalp. Okay. Because it's kind of 2 different things. They kind of are one and the same, but they are 2 different things. So you'll notice when you start stitching onto the braids that any braid that's loose, then the stitches are loose. God bless you. Thank you. Or you got to try to like choke the braid with the stitch to make the stitch so tight to make up for the fact that the braid's not tight. Okay. Everything just flows together better when every part of it is done right. Okay. Zoom in so we can see. We popping or what? Braids on fleek, wet, flat, wet. No, this feels really good though.
Okay. It don't look good.
It don't look good? Copy. Thumbs up if it looks good. Thumbs up if it don't look good.
Okay, so because I've seen you do this before, you take 2. Should I just do 1 at a time?
Do 1 at a time right now because you're learning. As you get better at it, you can do all 3, or you could do 2 at a time.
Okay, and then you just kind of stick it in this part right here and sew it down, right? And then just squeeze it in here.
Yeah.
And sew it down.
Yeah.
But
so I'll like drag this down some, just to kind of get out the way, because like if this does end up bulking up at all, at least it's not bulking up at the top where it matters the most. So I'll drag this down some, and then I'll like try to get it in between
2 braids.
Yeah, in between 2 braids. So maybe like these 2, and then since I know this one needs to come as well, right after. Now you could do it together if you feel confident, but the way like how it's gonna be when you start sticking needle through, it's real easy to make them clump together unless you have like the right technique down.
Okay, so I'll just do one at a time.
So just do one at a time. Yeah.
Oh.
What happened?
Okay. So, huh? What?
You trying to figure out what to do first?
Yeah.
Huh? I was just about to say, okay, watch me. I'm gonna show you right now. So I'm grabbing this, and I'll probably want to make my first stitch like right here. So it does not way down here. You probably could, but just to be safe.
No, because I'm gonna put it right here.
Right. Oh, okay, cool. So I'm just gonna make my first stitch right here. So you're not looking at the camera, are you?
No.
Okay. So I can feel what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of like looping it through, like underneath that braid, and I'm gonna bring it all the way out. I'm gonna hold on to this so that as this gets closer to finishing, this must be one of the needles you did. Then open this up. And then stick the needle through it so that I create my first knot, so I know the thread is in there. So then after that, go through and just feel where there's a braid, stick it under, and then by wrapping this around the needle and pulling it, then I know I just created a knot. And just doing that over and over. And pulling it through, and then now you start taking it to the side, or wherever you're gonna start doing it, and just do the same thing.
Do I have to stitch close together?
No, just as long as you feel like the braid is stuck. You don't want to do it too far. My suggestion, rule of thumb when you're first getting started, is do close stitches. Do everything as tight and secure as you can.
Okay.
As you start to get more accustomed to doing weaves, you'll know when it's appropriate and fine to do stitches further apart. You know what I'm saying? But starting out, yeah, just to be safe.
Okay, so this braid and this braid are far from each other.
That's fine. So just attach it to one. Just attach it to one. That's a good question. Yeah, don't. The only time you ever need to use both of them to close it in is because they're so close to each other. You may as well, but you don't really need to. So what I do in that case, because there's not anything that's like closing it in, when I stick the needle underneath this braid that's already down, sometimes I'll stick it, I'll stick it around the braid that needs to be anchored down, and then kind of through the braid that is already anchored down. Does that make sense?
No. So show me.
So like, whoops.
That's a thread.
Okay. So like,
and this is the thread.
Okay. So I might just change directions of it. So hard.
Oh.
So if I go like around, this one, but then through the middle of this one, instead of going underneath both of them, because then it just creates more snugness, because the thread is kind of caught in between the braid.
Yeah.
Versus going around the braid, then you'll notice like, oh, that can kind of slip through kind of easy. You know what I'm saying? You'll notice it. That's just like a little. So you're finished with this one, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how to knot it.
So I was just about to show you that. Okay, so, there's not a lot of room left over either. So it's a good thing. Try not to ever leave this. Try to leave a little bit more than this out in the future.
Okay.
So, because the way to make a knot with this would be to actually, you see how it's a struggle for me to like get this through there?
Yeah.
That's the way that you would make a knot with this. And if this was going to sit right on top of a track, that would be fine. But because it's on top of braids, then what I tend to do is I'll go through, and then I'll just kind of loop the needle around like that, and then push it up to create a knot. Because I feel like if you were to just create a knot outright like this, and it could just come out easily. The knot can just loosen up easily because it wasn't attached to anything. It's hard to explain, but anyway.
I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I cut, I always like to leave a little bit hanging. Like don't cut right at the knot. Yeah, so that when the person goes in to take their weave out, they can feel for thread.
Okay.
You know, and all of it's gonna be covered up anyway.
Okay.
What?
I don't know which way to take it. I'm like,
Oh yeah, okay. So with this one,
can I take it anyway as long as it's laid flat?
Yeah, you can. You really can. Like whatever this is over here, you can take that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. And like I said, sometimes girls' hair is so thick that their braids are right next to each other. There's no room to squeeze this hair in.
Oh.
You end up kind of just creating a whole new layer. But as long as you do it in a way that's seamless and the whole thing flows, it works out. So, first thing you do, stick it through the braid a little bit, and then
Stick it through the braid.
Okay. And then take the thread and wrap it around in the direction it should go to create a knot if you pull the braid, if you pull the thread through. Because I think you should be wrapping the thread around to the left. Right? Did you create a knot? Yeah, it feels like there's a knot there.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is take the needle, stick it through the weft, come out, loop it in your hair, and then go through the bottom of the weft.
Like basically underneath. Not actually sticking it through, but making a loop around it.
Around the weft.
Yes.
Yes, until I get to
the center.
The center.
And once you get to the center, bring it through the actual wefts again.
Okay.
The hardest part about this is that there's two of them. So just really sticking that needle through to get through both of them.
Okay, so the first time, let me get this right again. I'm going to stick it through the weft. I'm going to loop it in through your braid and...
Yeah, stick it through the weft right now. That way you already have it. But the other way. Yeah.
Now, can I throw this on your shoulder?
Yeah.
Because I need somewhere for that to go.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to turn around? Do it.
Dang.
But see, we're not going to do this the whole entire time.
Okay.
Just for bits and pieces. I think it would be better if you're on that side since you're...
No, because then I'll be reaching over.
Oh, okay.
I'll move when I need to.
Okay. Yeah, I think this video is more of a conversation. And just knot it, and you know it's there to stay.
It would have been much easier if I would have knotted it right there.
No, I think you have to pull it all the way through before you knot it. What you talking about? Oh, you know what? I think I know what you're doing. The times when you go through the weft, don't make a knot until after. It's not a huge deal, but I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in a minute.
The times that I go through the weft,
just bring the thread straight out and then just make a knot, versus going through the weft and then not looping it the way that you've been looping the rest. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, so make a knot with my hands.
Yeah.
And not with the needle.
Right. Because if you knot it after you've looped it, the knot's really not as secure. I would probably have to show you on a doll head.
How do you avoid the hair from getting...
It just happens. It's annoying.
Okay, so I'm getting to the point. Yeah, almost saturated. This part right here.
So stick it around the braid, straight through the weft, or both wefts, whatever. And then just pull it straight out.
Don't go underneath?
No.
Pull it straight out?
And then make a knot.
I don't think you meant to say that.
Make a... Let me see.
No, I know that part, but...
And then, let me see. Make a knot like this. Why I wouldn't have meant to say that? So that's what I mean when I say, like, once in the middle, do that. Where you pull it through. And on that part, you don't have to do a loop first. Just pull it straight through. Okay, so now you're gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna go through the intricacies of flipping. Don't worry if it's not perfectly flipped. You want to try to maintain flatness as much as you can. But just flip it over. I'll put it on this shoulder now, and just make sure that as you're stitching, that you're not allowing it to like bunch up and stuff. You know, keep
it straight.
Kind of pull, but starting off the process of flipping, do a couple of stitches right here to make sure this stays over here. You don't want to start pulling right away, and then, I mean, you could, because that feels pretty flat. But there's going to be certain parts when you flip where you're going to realize, no, let me get this stationary.
I think it relieves the pressure on this braid.
And it does.
When you do that way.
It does, yeah. It does, God bless you.
Thank you.
But it could also go wrong. That's why I was just like, I don't want to get into the intricacies of it. Just, yeah.
All right, let me see. Okay, so what I want to do is,
if you did what?
I'm just talking to myself. Okay. I think I still want to go through the weft on this one.
I do that sometimes, yeah. To make it stay in place. Yeah, because when I'm on this side, when I'm positioned over here and I'm going this direction, I put the thread under.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
I was trying to wrap it twice around the needle,
like how we were doing when we were on this.
Yeah.
You don't gotta do that on this.
Okay.
Because it's gonna make it get stuck like midway. Is that what you're running into?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Does it feel secure?
Like I'm gonna show you. Let me show you. I want to see if this is how you're doing the knots. taking it through the braid and then through the wefts like that, bringing it out straight, and then creating a knot.
Oh, that's probably why. Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You have to, okay, so you go through, under the braid.
Uh-huh. I'm trying to see.
You go under the braid, through the wefts, push that over, pull it out, and then take that needle, wrap it around twice, and then pull it.
You could just wrap it around once.
Okay.
You could wrap it around twice if your pull game is right, but sometimes if you wrap it around twice, it's going to cause it to knot up.
Okay.
Before you get to the bottom. So that's why for me, it's just safer for me to just make 2 loops. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, do it once and then just do it again afterward.
Oh, see, I was about to cut it and use more thread, but you did that. You attached that braid.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get it? So when you do the ones through the wefts, do it like that. I know it takes a minute. But I felt like something was different. It's probably not even that big a deal, but maybe it is. Maybe that's why sometimes people's tracks be coming out, you know, versus other tracks.
Okay, so I'm securing that, and then I'm gonna make this knot. Now you said keep my finger in the.
Yeah. So that the loop doesn't tighten up until you get to the weft. Did it work?
It did. Yay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how you do that.
Okay. I was gonna say something.
What?
Oh, I don't know how to bring it back up.
Oh.
Okay, so pretty much I was having a problem making the knot on the weft and not on the string, making it secure or feel secure, right, Ruby? So what Ruby was telling me is to keep my fingers in the thread until the knot meets the weft.
Yeah.
Correct?
Okay, guys, so Whitney has so far sewn in an entire bundle of hair, and I feel like she did such a good job. Like, seriously, this is her first time. This is her first time ever doing this, right? And it's so flat. Like, it's taken us a while, but she's following instructions really, really, really well. So this just goes to show me that if you guys rewind the videos and play them back again and follow instructions really well, you guys can get it down. So I don't know what it looks like. I just know that it feels super flat and secure. We have a whole bundle in, and even along the sides, I feel like the flipped tracks are like good. They're much better than I expected. So good job.
Thank you.
Now I'm gonna show her how to connect, because you see there's still thread left from the last thread that she started, but she finished the track. So now I'm gonna show you how to connect the new track.
Okay.
All you basically gotta do, same thing you do to start it. Otherwise, just make sure that you sit it right next to it, and that you pull the needle just straight through. That you
The same way I started the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Got it. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So I'm gonna take this, put the needle through the weft.
Wait, no. Don't pull it through. Wrap it around the braid, and then through the weft. Wrap around the braid right next to it, almost so there's no space between. And then through the wefts. Pull it straight through, no looping. All the way till this is just attached to the head.
Boom. Okay, now I'm gonna make a knot.
You did the knot? Okay, y'all, so so far we have a total of 2 bundles in. I know you can't see all the hair just yet, but you could at least see where the track stops. So we're about halfway up the head. Like if I open it up, you can see that much. I don't want to separate these curls too much. So we're about this distance up the head, and we have about that much distance to go, maybe even less to go going up. So from this point on, I'm going to instruct her to take the weft and go across my head, side to side, but to cut the wefts. I know a lot of people don't really like to cut the wefts, but we're cutting the wefts because first of all, this already hurts and I ain't got time for flip tracks. Second of all, we're squeezing a lot of hair in and we're doubling the wefts. And definitely, if I were going to have you continue to flip, I would want you to single the wefts out so that the flips could be really flat along the side, because my hair is thin. I didn't leave that much out on the side, and I needed to, even though it's curly, I still want it to be somewhat flat. So I don't mind cutting the wefts of this hair. I don't even know how long I'm going to wear this hair, if I'm going to reuse this hair. And so who cares, basically. So you got it?
Yep.
That's what we're doing. You get the bag and fumble it. I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Woo! Ooh, look at my hand. Can y'all tell that one hand is swollen?
Okay, so I got to the first.
My God is awesome. Oh, we should sing. Oh.
I'm sorry. But no, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh,
okay, so I go through the weft again, right?
Yes, go through the weft again. But this time, let me see. Did you already stick it through the hair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you confident? Are you confident in knowing where to go through the weft at?
Mm-hmm.
To the left or to the right of your first stitch?
To the left.
Okay, good.
If I do this, it's easier for me to control it.
I'm curious to know what exactly you're doing. You said right this, it's easier to control. Oh. Girl, it's them nails. I don't know why we decided to do this with nails.
Okay. So this is through.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I go through here?
No.
Just
First
pull it
time,
through.
yeah, just pull it. So it's flat up against there.
And then,
And then knot it.
oh,
Yeah, create
I'm sure.
a knot. Oh, no.
it's too loose.
Oh, no. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Just keep going.
So it down. It's not too tight because it's going to turn with
Yeah. Guys, listen to you guys. Whew. She popping wet. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the first piece, and then if you feel like you can do the second piece, proceed. We're at the top, y'all, and this is like the most nerve-wracking part to me. So I'm gonna help her out by doing a piece, and then she's just gonna follow my lead by trying to do the other side. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing, laying this top track on top right here. So sticking the needle through the weft. I have videos specifically breaking this down, so okay. see what I'm doing, but I'm feeling, I don't feel like that's a pretty good place. So can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah. Like you're sewing it over the braid.
Yes, over the braid. It needs to completely
Cover the braid.
Cover the braid. And so these stitches need to be close together. Tight, no errors. And then there's like some pulling that I tend to do. Typically, like if I'm on a client's head. Is the braid covered?
Yep.
And I like to pull as I go to make sure that.
So you're not going through the entire braid? I mean, under the braid?
I am, actually. You can't tell?
No.
Yeah, well, it feels like I am.
It seems like to get that look to where the track will be covered. I mean, the braid will be covered. You would have to go through only partial.
It seems like that, but it actually gets like a tighter grip when you go through the whole thing.
Okay.
But only if the braid's small. If the braid up there is kind of big, then you're right.
Oh, okay.
It's only because the braid is small right now. So put it
Through the whole track?
through the track right here, and then start looping it around.
Through your braid?
No, through the track.
Oh, I had it through the track.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Did you put it through the track?
Yeah.
Cut it. Cut it. Cut it. Ooh. Okay. Looks like it's all in there. Wow. Finally. Y'all don't want to know what time it is. So we're just going to open that up and see how well does it blend naturally. Okay, so I'm going to go spend some time on this hair, getting it right and all. And then I will come back to you guys in 3, 2, 1.
I've been catching, feeling, and loving different women, and living every minute like it's my last. And she's the instigator of my new behavior, feasting from her table.
So what do you think? I intentionally make it look like this. This is more of a wet look. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of how it looks when it's fully dry. But I have to get it started where I fully wet it down and comb through it, brush through it so that I can blend my natural curls with the curl pattern that is on the weft. All in all, I really love the way that this looks on me. I think Whitney did a really good job. She's not here anymore, obviously, but I think she did a really good job the first time. I know this was a super long video. Thank you guys for sticking it out with us and chit-chatting with us in the comments below. We're definitely going to be replying to comments below. Let me know if you want to see another video like this. Thumbs this video up. Subscribe to this channel. We're almost at 50K, y'all. I really would love to be at 50K by the time I have my baby. So thank you for being a part of my journey. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.
My soul's tribulation, and I've been chasing visions and dancing on the ceiling, listening